Hello, love wrestling. It is not Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. It's Tuesday night at 10:10 p.m. But you know, when you see my face, when you see this gentleman's face, it's time for Firmly Love Wrestling. And it being Tuesday, it is firmly WWE Day. We apologize for the time change, but I had an appointment this morning that I had to take care of, so we decided to go live right after NXT. We're not going to be discussing NXT. We're going to be strictly doing Raw and SmackDown. That's what we do on this show. However, shout out to Ethan Page. He knows what's up. Shout out. He is the champion of NXT. Oh, there goes Lou. He is the champion of NXT, which means he is the Boston Celtics of NXT. So I just wanted to give him a shout out because he shouted out the best team in the NBA. So that's all. That's the only thing we're going to talk about on NXT. However, Roxanne Perez and CM Punk, that was very good. That
Best
was very
part
good
of the night for sure.
Yeah, that was very good. All right, Drew. First and foremost, how we doing today, my friend?
Doing good. It's late here on the East Coast now for us old people.
Yeah.
Haven't done a show at this time in a while, so definitely going to feel it in the morning.
Yeah, Drew is sacrificing to for all of us, really, because it is late on the East Coast. It is late, but we are here. We're going to have a good time
right now.
You're a better person than I.
So.
Two things that I could never do, oddly enough, was like wake up really early. I had to. I used to work in coffee, so I had to wake up early most of my career, like early. 3:30, 4 in the morning early. But I could never wake up early in the morning, like those people that wake up at like 4:30 and 5 in the morning to go to the gym before they put on a shirt and tie or a suit and go to work. I could never.
Yeah.
I could never.
It's thankfully my shoot job is in the afternoon. So I'm afternoon to evening worker.
Yeah, that helps. So that helps. That's
nice.
Helpful,
yes.
That's nice. We got Sunday Sinner in the chat. Hello, my friend. We got Scott. We got the real tight spot, and many more of you. Welcome in. Feel free to
past our bedtime, Scott. You're right.
It is. It is past the bedtime, but we're going to start this up. We're going to talk about Drew. What was a fantastic? Oh, we got company. We got company, don't we? That's what that was. That was the cat. That was your cat. My cat bounced. Your cat was like, "What's going on?"
In case anyone who's a regular viewer of the Firmly Love Wrestling brand, I'm not in my usual spot. Don't have my red curtain behind me. So, yes, I'm in my living room now because my better half is in bed.
Yeah.
So I obviously wasn't going to do a show while he was lying in bed trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So now I get to be amongst the feline friends in the house.
Hell yeah. We're gonna have run-ins all show. I cannot wait. But Monday Night Raw, Drew, last night, it was from Portland, Oregon, and let me tell you, I thought this was one of the best Raws of the year. I thought this Raw was good from start to finish. There was not one thing I did not enjoy at all on this show. I thought this was a spectacular, like a fantastic Raw last night, Drew. Just in general, before we start breaking it down.
Yeah, from what I can remember, it was only 24 hours ago, but I had a lot of stuff happen today, so it's not work-wise. So as we talk about everything, all the memories will just come
Yeah.
flooding back to my brain. Um, but yes, it's I do remember really enjoying the show.
Oh, it was fantastic. And the show starts. We get one of those cool one camera shot entrances. It shows CM Punk getting out of his car, and the camera follows him all the way through to his entrance. He's kicking off the show. Very cool way to do that. He gets on the mic, and he says, in my opinion, I thought this was the best promo we have seen from CM Punk since he's been
Yeah,
back. Since
it
he's been back.
was his legitimate best promo since returning.
Yeah, 100%. Like it was
It
very,
was
very
great.
good. And you know, before, because he says a lot here, so I'm not going to repeat it word for word, but we're going to go through it. But it was really the tone of the promo.
Mm-hmm.
Very gravely sounding, like it was just, yeah,
It was monotone, but in a good way.
yeah,
Because it was monotone in a I'm really, really angry and pissed off way.
yeah. But
And
he's like
that is the
talking,
CM Punk
yeah.
that
But
we
he's
all want.
talking like he's talking very calmly, even though you know he is like furious, and it's like that.
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah.
It felt
So
like an angry dad.
yeah, he gets on the mic. He basically says he's at the point of his career where a lot of people ask him how many matches he has left. And he says it's way more than we think. He goes, depending on how you feel about me, you'll either be happy or sad about this, but it's way more than everybody thinks. And he says, when I came back to WWE, I didn't come back to make friends. He was like, but I didn't necessarily think I'd be coming back to make a mortal enemy. And he goes, but that's what's happened here with Drew. And he goes, he said, I feel naive to think that this was going to be over just because I touched 4 turnbuckles in Berlin, which I thought was a good line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he says, but he's too stubborn, and Drew's fatal mistake was not getting the job done. He says, now things are different. People can ask him how many Hell in a Cell matches he has left. And he goes, in the truth, the answer is 0.
Which, you know what? That I think that really is truthful.
Yeah, that was great. That was a really good line. And then he goes, his little sisters have asked him not to do it. His wife have asked him not to do this. He said, the angel on my shoulder has asked me not to do this. And he goes, but I have to tell you why I have to do this. And then he says, if you push me hard enough, I'll become the devil himself. And the devil in his heart says the only way this ends is inside Hell in a Cell. He goes, the same heart Drew promised to get to stop beating. And he can't promise he won't. And he goes, I can't promise I won't kill McIntyre because he doesn't make promises he can't deliver. So he promises that he's going to make Drew bleed. And he promises that McIntyre will have to kill him because he is prepared to die and for this heart to stop beating. He's had a great career, and if this is the end, then so be it. And if he's prepared for this to be the end of Drew McIntyre, then Punk will see him in hell. And that's how the promo leaves, and he just drops the mic and calmly walks out. And man, it was good stuff, Drew. It was good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like we said, it's truly the promo that was needed, not just for him returning to the company last year, but also it was the promo that this feud needed because
I agree.
it was really, really crappy for a little bit with the bracelet stuff, and I'm very happy that we got, yes, absolutely, Sinner, you're totally right there. The most CM Punk promo since CM Punk has been back.
Yeah.
And that was what, it didn't need Drew McIntyre. It didn't need any extra pyro and ballyhoo and all this stuff. It didn't need any of that stuff. It was Punk angry but calm, which is the worst type of anger to have.
Yeah.
And he just laid it all out on the line. He told the truth with the, about the 0 Hell in a Cell stuff.
Yep.
it was just really, really well done. It was what this feud needed because
100%.
it's gotta it's.
I mean, this is the end.
It's going to be over.
Yeah, this is the end.
Over.
We're in the home stretch here. We're in the last 10 days, 2 weeks, under 2 weeks of this feud. Next week, Drew McIntyre is scheduled to be at Raw. I don't know if CM Punk would be there, but CM Punk is going to be on NXT in Chicago. And I wouldn't be shocked if Drew were to show up there as well to kind of hype up for Bad Blood that following Saturday. But we got the boss man, Mr. Spencer Love, in the chat. Always a pleasure to see that fine gentleman. We then see an interview with Sheamus backstage. He says he taught Pete Dunne too well, and he really hit him where it hurts. He says, and then he just says, whatever you do, he talks a little bit more trash, and then he just goes, whatever you do, don't call him Butch. Don't call him Butch. And he just kind of repeats it to say Butch as many times as he can because he knows Pete Dunne's probably listening, and it will annoy the hell out of him. And he goes, but yeah, he said tonight he's going to make Pete Dunne Butch. And then we get the one-on-one match with Pete Dunne and Sheamus, a very hard-hitting, bruising match, as you would expect from these two gents. This was a very good opening match of Raw, back and forth. At one point, Sheamus hits an avalanche power slam. I thought Wade Barrett, first of all, Joe Tessitore again, just excellent. Just excellent.
Really enjoying him.
Yes, he is excellent. We'll talk about him specifically at the end of one match in a little bit. But he's just getting better and better every week. And I thought Wade Barrett last night was hysterical. A couple of the lines that he was throwing out there. But I say that because he said he did the avalanche power slam, and then Wade Barrett was like, he mentioned Davey Boy Smith, and I was like, man, that's a good callback, man. That's what that did.
So one of Spencer's comments was about Roxy and Julia. Spencer, we're not actually covering NXT, but if you want to tell us what your hot take is, hey,
yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Julia and Roxanne is going to be incredible, and the fact that it's on free television is, it's going to be really, really good. It's going to be really, really good. He's like, just let me yell. Logan, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Probably on episode 1.
I would have him in. Okay. Well, again, we're not going to go crazy about NXT, but I know there's going to be, because it just ended. At the end of NXT, they announced that CM Punk is going to be the special guest referee in the match between Trick and Ethan Page in Chicago. I think Drew McIntyre is going to get involved and take CM Punk out during that match, and that's how they'll hype up Bad Blood on Saturday, whatever. But I've been saying it for a few weeks. I want CM Punk to cut a promo earlier in the night, and I want Ricky Starks to interrupt. Oh, be incredible. That would be incredible.
I will watch the first episode at least, just to see what happens there.
Of course, yeah. I think they're going to build up those first two, the one in Chicago with Punk, and then the one in St. Louis with Randy. They're going to build those up basically like PLEs.
If I remember correctly, though, the next week, St. Louis, the St. Louis one hyping up Randy Orton.
Correct.
That one is going head-to-head with Title Tuesday on Dynamite. Yeah.
So maybe that might be where, if you have an AEW guy debut going head-to-head, imagine.
So that would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But so this Pete Dunne and Sheamus match, it ends. Sheamus goes and grabs, or Pete Dunne goes and grabs the shillelagh, which has been the weapon here that they've been trying. Pete Dunne has got the best of Sheamus with. Referee sees it, or Sheamus hits him with the knee, it drops. Then Sheamus picks it up, and he's thinking about hitting Pete Dunne. The referee's saying, no. And then why this is happening, the referee is going to put the shillelagh out of the ring, and Pete Dunne takes out a cricket bat from under the ring, and he hits Sheamus in the arm shoulder area with the cricket bat. He slides in. He hits a bro kick on Sheamus, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. Huge win for Pete Dunne. Big time win for Pete Dunne. An excellent match. They announced earlier today that Sheamus has signed an extension with WWE as well, so he's sticking around, which is awesome because he still kicks a ton of ass. Love Sheamus. Great match, Drew. Just a great. The whole night had a bunch of great matches, but this was a great match to really start the night off. I thought.
Agreed. I really Sheamus. I've always loved Sheamus because he, in particular, can really, the brawling brute thing is not a joke with him. It's really not. So I love all his matches. And Pete Dunne. I mean, I've been a fan of Pete Dunne for years. So Pete Dunne was part of the first show that I ever went to. Unfortunately, he was injured at that time.
Damn.
The first Progress show in 2017 in New York. And so I didn't get to see him wrestle, but I did take a picture with him.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
I love Pete Dunne. He's got a tattoo on his kneecap. Tough bastard. Anybody that has a tattoo on the kneecap, you're tough as nails. You're tough as nails. That's how I know. Whenever I see it, I just go, oh, shit. Don't mess with that guy. Don't mess with that person at all. Not even guy, just person, because they'll kill you. We then see the Terror Twins backstage. They run into Jey Uso. Uso says that he's going to have eyes on Damian Priest's match tonight. And then Xavier Woods rolls up. You know what, Drew? We've spent a ton of time on the New Day. And I have a feeling in a little bit we're going to spend some more quality time with the New Day.
Yes, I think we are.
So Xavier Woods rolls up. He says, I know we haven't seen eye to eye in the past, looking at Rhea and Damian, which I loved that they acknowledged that. Thank you. He says, but they all have an issue with the Judgment Day. And he asked Priest to not get involved in the tag title match. Damian agrees and just says, well, whoop their ass. Will you take the belts and whoop their ass? We come back from commercial, and Miz and Braun Strowman. Miz walks into Braun Strowman working out and just basically wishes him luck. And he keeps on asking Braun. He asked Braun if he thinks he can handle Bronson Reed, given his history, and Strowman explains that sometimes a monster just needs to handle a monster. And Miz is like, all right. Yeah.
Now, this is something that I did want to point out.
Yeah.
Because it's not really about the segment itself.
Yeah.
It's just, now, while beef, we love matches like that.
Oh, my God, yeah.
When you... Now in the newer games, now in the 2K24 and whatever WWE games, if you're playing like My GM, you used to get penalized for not doing the class types that are supposed to be, So like I have 2K22. I'm actually currently in an NXT UK My GM run.
Hell yeah, NXT UK, nice pick.
Yeah. Playing as Sonya Deville, and I can't put a giant and a giant in a match together because that match doesn't do well in 2K22.
Yeah. Well, they might have to change that after, going into next year's game. They might have to change that.
They really should. They really should. Well, they did. They did in the update for the newer ones. You can they don't really penalize you for that anymore. So
you still get a talking to. You still get a talking to by Triple H if you don't mix the classes up though. He still says his normal, like, hey, you got to pay a little attention to that.
Yeah. But yeah, so when I watched this last night, I was like, well, Bronson Reed is not in 2K22, but if he was in 2K22, the class pairing would just not be the right thing, and then I wouldn't get a good match rating. Yep. But on WWE television, they do it all the time.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
So,
we then get a one-on-one match with Natalya and Zoe Stark. We're grabbing the cat. Here it is. Oh, they. Oh, yeah. I can see the ears.
He may enter or just go away.
Listen, I'm all in for a run in. Oh, there he is. There he is. Wait a minute. Oh yeah. So Natalya and Zoe Stark, they had a match. It was a relatively quick match. Natty hit Zoe with a few German suplexes, a lariat, right hand. So Natty had they made Natty look really good here. So Natty came back obviously in the 6-woman tag the week before. This was a pretty solid match. Zoe can go in the ring. It was a quick match, but it was good for what it was. The one thing that I just didn't like, and I understand, Maddie came back last week. She's in a singles match. The Pure Fusion Collective has been together for what? A little under a couple months now, something like that. Like, whatever.
Has it even been 2 months yet?
Yeah, no, maybe a month, a little over a month. I don't know. They lose all the time. So why? But I like the people in the group. All three of them I like. I really like Shayna Baszler. Really like Shayna Baszler. And I think Sonya is good, and I think Zoe is good. But why should I give a shit about this group? They have lost almost every match they've been in. Why do I care about this group?
I can't disagree with you, unfortunately.
Does not make sense. They lose everything. And I'm just like, okay, then like, what's the point of the group? You put them together to be this powerhouse group or this new, oh, look out, we got a new faction. And then in a month, they're losers. Losers.
Yeah, you
They
can't
lose
take them
all
seriously.
the time. Man, come on. Come on. What does Natalya lose by losing to Zoe Stark? At all.
This may have been the dud of the night, honestly.
It wasn't even like it was a bad match. It was quick and it was just whatever. But like, these two girls are very good wrestlers. Like, it was good for what it was. It was just like, what?
Yeah, it's
Zoe couldn't beat Natalya. That's not hurting Natalya at all. She's cemented as what,
did.
I
said he. Well, I mean, it is he, Triple H. He did do the same thing with Damage Control.
At first.
And debuted on a major way in that 2022 SummerSlam, his first one under his creative tutelage.
Yep.
And then they lost, and then the big title match, the tag title match, you're like, oh well, they're shoo-ins, and then they lost to like Raquel and Aaliyah, I think it was.
Oh yeah, was that? I remember them.
I think it was Raquel and Aaliyah that were the tag team that they lost to.
Remember that? Wow.
And it's like,
It's
what?
It's a good pull. I would have never remembered that. I would have never remembered that.
I had stopped watching because I was like, okay, this seems like the same old shit, and I'm not into it now. So that was when I stopped.
Again, I'm going to make another NXT reference. They even did it tonight. They just made that new group down in NXT, that, what is it, Fatal Influence? And they had JC Jane in a match tonight, against Lola Vice. I like Lola Vice. She's great. They had JC Jane lose. What the hell? You're supposed to make your new friggin' faction. Imagine the Shield showed up. When the Shield showed up, and they just lost every match they were in for 2 months. What the hell? And I know they lost time and time again, but like,
they were shown to be very dominant.
Just imagine that. Just imagine that. If the Shield showed up in their first 4 out of 5 matches, they lost. Jesus. Anyway. Okay, let's move on. Rhea Ripley was interviewed backstage. You know what I love, Drew? Oh. They did this both ways. They did this one right here where Rhea Ripley was getting interviewed and Finn Balor showed up and they went back and forth. And then later on, it was Damian Priest being interviewed and Liv Morgan showed up. They did it like reverse. I loved it. But Finn Balor shows up. He says that he's been meaning to catch up with her for a while. And he really feels like she's just as bad as Damian. He said, you said we were a family. You acted like you cared, but in reality, the only thing you cared about was yourself. And I'm sick of being blamed for everything that went wrong with the Judgment Day. And then Rhea unloads on him. She said that all she tried to do was make opportunities for her family. But if they want her and Damian to be the bad guys, we'll just see how bad they can be. Balor says there's one more thing that he wanted to say. And this is where he spills the beans. He goes, when Liv Morgan was putting moves on Dom, I was the devil on his shoulder telling him to do it. Oh. And then Jey Uso shows up. He says, we got a problem. We got a problem. And Finn goes, no, we're just two friends catching up. Just two friends catching up. We're good, man. Before telling him to focus on the IC championship because he's out of his league with Rhea. And then Rhea kind of looks at Jay and goes, he's right, And Jay goes, what, the Yadamali? I thought that was funny. But great.
So
I
the
love
interactions, between the two of them are very interesting because, she was doing the yeet thing she did it a couple times last night. And also, I don't know. I mean, maybe they become the new it couple or something.
I mean, they're teasing it. They're certainly teasing it.
It would be cool. I mean, listen, I'd be very jealous of Rhea Ripley, but you'll be jealous of Jey Uso, but it's I mean, it that could be a possibility. I wouldn't hate it. I mean,
they're definitely teasing it. I don't know if it'll ever become anything super serious or like an on-screen thing, but I think they're just kind of teasing it, like, oh, these two are clearly, they're flirting with each other. They're kind of digging each other. I don't think it has to become this large romance and angle. If they do, they do. I mean, it's not like wrestling doesn't involve romance all the time,
right? And the funny thing is that they have been doing this for a while.
A little bit, it's been going on a little bit.
Yeah,
it's not just the last few weeks. There have been teases back further.
I really enjoyed the promo by Finn a lot.
Very good.
Revealing that he was the devil pushing Dom to live, and also, he's really been. I was trying to really remember this. I thought it was just like a delusional heel thing, but he'd been really pushing that it was because of Damian that he was not champion last year.
It was. There were multiple matches.
So
there were multiple matches that he had with Seth.
I'm trying to remember.
One of them, he had a couple shots at Seth. And again, my memory is, I have a lot of fun. We'll leave it at that. So my memory is kind of shoddy from time to time, but he had a couple opportunities with Seth, and Damian Priest came out to help Finn Balor, but he had the briefcase still. He was money, Senor. What do they call him?
Senor
in the bank. Yeah, something like that. Senor in the bank. But he was the Money in the Bank guy still, and it just so happened that a couple times it looked like he was thinking about, and Finn ended up losing those matches, not because of Damian Priest, but it was played off in a way where Finn could take it that way, kind of thing. So he's not necessarily wrong, but I think it's just deeper in his head because it happened to him. Can I say something?
Sure.
This Finn Balor right here that we are seeing these last, 3 to 4 weeks, this is Finn Balor that I can believe can be a world heavyweight champion. This guy. His promos are on point. He's got an attitude behind him. He feels like the Finn Balor that was NXT champion, that was coming up to the main roster to be a top of the, this Finn Balor is like, I feel like Finn got lost in the shuffle for a handful of, a little bit of time, years, where he was just kind of there, but they weren't doing anything with him. And it was like, no, this guy's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Can be a star of one of your shows. Good. And now they're letting him do it. And if they keep this Judgment Day, I could easily see him becoming world champion and Priest fighting. If they do that, that's a Mania match to me. Finn Balor versus Priest with Finn as the champion and Priest trying to win. You could 100% convince me that would be a Mania match that I would be super duper into big time. I don't know if you want to stretch it out. We're only in September, so that would be a long stretch. It'd be a long stretch.
That seems to be Triple H's specialty. However.
Yes. But that is a Mania match to me. If
there's two people in this world that love dragging out feuds, it's Chris Jericho and Triple H.
Yeah. So then we come back from commercial. Main event, Jey Uso makes his way to the ring. He's cutting a promo. He says he's got his match with Braun Breaker, and he's about to get his first singles title, and he's excited. He's wanted it since he's come to Raw and since he left the Bloodline, and now he's going to prove to everyone, and now he doesn't need help, and he can be on his own. Braun Breaker comes out.
And what led after this was also Braun Breaker's best promo, I think, so far.
Yep. So Braun Breaker comes out. he says, I told you, Jay, to stay away. And yet here he is with this relentless pursuit of the IC championship to prove that he doesn't need his family. Braun says that he's done his homework. He says, yeah, you've been here for 14 years. It's a long time. There's no doubt you're a big star. The fans love you. They love chanting your name. But I've managed to do more as a single star in 6 months than you've done in your whole career. Not untrue.
Not untrue.
Not untrue. And he goes, and the kicker is, I did it without my dad. I did it without my uncle. I even did it without their name. Loved that fucking line.
That was the best
Loved
line.
it.
Yep.
He goes, I did it all by myself because the IC championship is my family, and that's what I fight for. And then Jay says, yeah, you're right. I've been here for 14 years, winning championships while you were still in diapers. And next week, I'm going to dog walk your ass. Now,
very good line, too.
Very good. And that's not the best line that Jay even said. And then he goes, we're going to see what you're made of because it might just end up short and sweet like your NFL career.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby. Oh, what a line.
I forgot that he was in the NFL.
Yeah. What a line. And I loved Braun's reaction. Like the immediate quick, like head snap, just staring at him like, yeah, that's what you want to take it there. That's what we're doing. He gets in Jay's face. Braun steps away, but he drops Uso with the cheap shot. He's drawing him up. He's yelling in his face. He looks like he's going to hit him with the spear. He goes off the ropes, but Jay Uso hits him with the spear first, and Braun leaves the ring. And that's how this segment ends. Very good. Very good segment between these two gents. I'm very excited. This is not the last time we're going to talk about them during the show, but we'll save that. But very good segment. Very good promos from both guys. From both guys going back and forth with each other. I am very excited for this match next week, Drew. Very, very excited.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think that Jay is
it's going to be Jey Uso losing another big match. And then you know what's going to happen? You know what I think they're doing here? Is I think he's going to lose all these big matches, and it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like, hey, like Roman's going to be like, hey, man, I appreciate you buying in on yourself and like, you know, going out there and being a solo guy. But you need to come back home. You've been struggling on your own. You need to come back home and be on the blood. Like you need to come back to the bloodline. I think that's how they're going to maneuver him back into the bloodline. I don't like it. But like they keep on telling me that Jey Uso's a main event. They keep on telling me that Jey Uso's a main event guy. And the fans are buying into him as a main event guy, dude. The reactions, the merch sale, that's main event shit. But whenever he's in the main event, he fucking loses. So either he is a main event guy for you or he ain't. You just you need to decide what you want to do with him. Because I feel like he's going to lose another big match next week. I actually, even though I think I like Braun better, I actually want him to beat Braun. So Braun can I think Braun already needs to elevate. I think he already needs to elevate.
I wouldn't say that I think he needs to elevate already. Maybe they just have like this is funny. I mentioned my GM booking. What is a standard way to do it in my GM mode? You have title matches on TV.
Yeah.
And the title switches back and forth sometimes.
Yeah. We're starting to see, we're going to talk about SmackDown in a little bit, but we're starting to see title matches more frequently on regular television. We haven't seen a major title change hands on television yet, but we're starting to see more title matches. There were years that went by where none of the world titles were defended on TV. None. Ever. And we got one this past Friday. And an IC title match is going to main event next week. And I like that. I like that a lot. And I think this is one of the benefits of shorter pay-per-view cards. They've been hovering around those 5-match cards on the B-level pay-per-views. And I think that allows you to have bigger matches on your weekly television show. because you're only fitting 5 instead of 9 every month on the main card. You know what I mean? I think this is kind of one of the fruits of that, to be honest. All right. We then get Bianca and Jade are hanging backstage, and Iyo Sky comes up, and she's screaming. She's demanding why Bianca would challenge Kyrie when Kyrie is injured, and she calls Bianca a coward. And Bianca goes, "I didn't challenge. I was booked. I was booked to fight Kyrie. I didn't challenge." And then she goes, "But you know what? You look pretty healthy. So why don't you step in for your girl and you and I can tussle?" And I was like, hell yeah, because that match is going to rule. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then we get the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and JD McDonough defending their tag team titles against the New Day. Very good match. Very, very good tag match with these guys. Back and forth. They got the commercial break. Woods gets a hot tag, comes in, has a great hot tag. And then eventually this leads to the rest of the Judgment Day coming down to ringside during this match. But the LWO appear and they cut them off. And as this is going on, Woods gets McDonough in a position where he hits his elbow and he's going to cover. But the referee is outside dealing with the LWO and dealing with Kofi and the rest of the Judgment Day. Woods had McDonough covered for at least a 10 count. At least, Drew. New Day should have been new tag team champions. Woods goes out. He's frustrated. He's yelling at the ref. He's saying stuff to Kofi. He gets back in the ring. Damn it. There was a blind tag. McDonough gets the sleeper. They get the up. You know, they flip it around. Finn Balor. So Xavier Woods. No. McDonough gets Xavier Woods in a sleeper hold and rolls him over. And then Finn Balor hits the coup de grace onto Woods as McDonough still has the sleeper on him. Very cool looking move there.
Yeah,
and they retain the tag team championships. And then post-match, they show Kofi and Xavier in the ring, and Kofi goes to embrace Xavier, and Xavier says, "Get off me, man." And he goes, "I'm sick of this." And Kofi's like, "What are you talking about?" And Xavier's like, every time. And he's like, "I'm sick of it. Something has to change." And he leaves. And then later on, we see Kofi is trying to get interviewed. Somebody's trying to interview Kofi. And Kofi goes, "I can't talk." He goes, "I can't talk right now. I can't talk about this. I need to go find Woods." If you saw, and then you hear yelling, and we see Xavier Woods yelling at the LWO. Kofi approaches, and he says he asked the LWO to have their back in case the Judgment Day got involved. And Woods goes, "They never needed help. We never needed help before." And then Kofi says, "Yeah, but we used to have E." And Xavier, you can see once he says it, he's like he's just like, he's like, "You son of a bitch." And he goes, "And now it's just us." And Xavier takes offense to that. He says, and he complains to Kingston about leaving him in the dark. He says, "How do they know the plan of our tag team title match? And I don't." And then he goes, and then he storms off. And Woods is very irate. Good stuff here.
Really good stuff. And let me tell you, so the tag match was great.
Very good.
I cannot talk about the tag match because it's going to just make us go 5 hours.
Yeah.
So,
were you rooting for the New Day there to win?
Yeah, I was.
I was too.
I do.
Was too.
I love the New Day, and while I was the one of the two of us that have been like, "Yeah, let's see a split. Let's see a split."
I love them too much. I think.
I do get the positivity and the wholesomeness of it, and
yeah,
it's been 10 years. Also, we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary, and having said all that, when a certain someone was involved in this feud,
Mm-hmm.
or in the storyline rather, um, I said it was going to be he and Kofi. I thought were going to split and they were going to turn heel on Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
After last night, Xavier Woods should be turning. And you know what? He made, I have to be honest, and I know this isn't kayfabe, obviously. I have to be honest, he is well within his rights.
Yeah.
Because even with that other person, I'm referring to Odyssey Jones, of course, even with Odyssey, now Kofi is still making moves. The line that he said that Xavier said last night was perfect. It was like, the LWO knows what's going on in our tag match,
and I don't.
and not me, your tag partner.
Yeah.
That was like when they were doing the stuff with Odyssey, he was being very vague. You know, they finally had the conversation between the two of them that you were begging for.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, well, don't you guys talk? Aren't you best friends?
Yeah, like you're friends for 10 years. Like you don't have normal human being conversations about how you're feeling about something?
So there was the moment in this promo when Kofi says, yeah, I asked LWO to have, I don't disagree with that. I asked the LWO to have our back, and Woods said, why? We never needed help before. And then Kofi says, well, we don't have E. It's just
Us.
Me and you. And it was the way that he said that. I don't know if you caught on to that. Just the way that he said, it's just me and you. Like there was a pause there.
Yeah.
Like, what was that pause about, Kofi?
Yeah. Well, you saw Woods immediately, though, as like you said that, and I did notice that. And Woods immediately took offense to that. Like Woods was immediately like, "Oh, just us, huh?" Like that really bothered him, and that's when led to like the last thing before he stormed off.
Yeah. So
excellent.
It was excellent, and maybe because I was talking about this when the storyline started. Maybe because it's also going to be the 10-year anniversary, that's when Big E shows up.
My thing is, yeah, even if Big E can't wrestle, you would assume they would involve him in this.
Right.
Like we see him on the panels of every PLE pay-per-view. Like you can't have him. Like, how has he not already shown up and been like, guys, hey man, I know I'm not around, like, wrestling anymore, but like, yo, what the fuck? Obviously not like that. Duh. Maybe on Netflix. Who knows though? Who knows? Maybe they save it. But you know what I mean? But like, how is he not already? Like, we know he's not wrestling, but how do they just not talk? Do they not talk to him anymore? They were like, hey man, you were part of our trio for 10 years. You got hurt. You can't wrestle anymore. So we just don't. We excommunicated you. What? How has he not been involved? That makes no sense.
Yeah, even the way that Kofi was talking about him too.
We had E. He's still around.
You know,
he didn't
pass away.
He's alive.
E. He's at multiple shows.
He's at the same shows you are at least once a month. At least.
So I don't know. Maybe they still do. So like originally I said, oh, Odyssey and Kofi are going to turn on Xavier. Maybe there's something that they do that makes Kofi end up turning still as a swerve.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would like to see Big E get involved in that.
I would love it.
That would
and
be...
if he can't physically, obviously fine. But like he should be, if this picks up steam, like where they're like really button heads, like I don't know if a turn yet, but like they're really not, like he has to show up to try to mediate peace. He has to. And
then the official heel turn of whomever, probably Xavier at this point, but maybe Kofi. The official heel turn of whomever is if he can take a bump.
Yeah,
they attack.
Will you do one of those things where he's just like laid out in the back or something? If he can't take a bump, you just lay him
Oh,
out.
that's true.
You just
That's
lay him
true.
out back, and then you just we find out it was Woods.
You know what? That's even better. That's
Ooh.
even better.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then it turns out, oh, there's the video camera footage or whatever. They just did it on NXT tonight with Wes Lee.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to put up this comment by Dustin. He says November 28th is when the New Day made their in-ring debut, with Survivor Series being on November 30th, and so close to the debut date. I wonder if they'll do something then. Yeah, well, that's only a couple of days after the 10-year anniversary. So, again, like, I'm all for the juicy story. Like, I'm very interested in this. But I still, right now, on September 17th, I do not want the New Day to break up. I do not want the New Day to break up. Like, I'm still there. I'm still there. Does that mean that I don't think they can give me an entertaining story where I'll be like, I like this? No, I think they will. But right now, in this moment, I do not want the New Day to break up. That's where I'm standing right now. That could change, but that's where I am right now.
We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about excellent, Drew? Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed.
Oh, buddy.
I tweeted about this, and I said, I need these guys to fight every week for the rest of time. For the rest of time. Absolutely incredible. We are supposed to get Braun Strowman versus Big Bronson Reed. Braun gets in the ring. Reed, before the bell, is already charging at him. He sidesteps it. Reed goes into the turnbuckle, and the top turnbuckle immediately just pops off. And Tessator's losing his friggin' mind. I love it. Tessator's losing his mind. They get out of the ring. They get out of the ring. They fight on the floor. Bronson Reed picks up a fan. Obviously a plant, duh.
Yes.
But Bronson Reed picks up a fan out of the first row and just hucks him at Braun Strowman. Just throws this guy like a dart at Braun Strowman. And then Braun just runs right through Bronson Reed, through the barricade. The match is not happening. They're just whatever. They keep fighting through the crowd. They're trying to stop them. Nobody's going to stop these guys. They go through a damn drywall, Drew. They go through a drywall. We go to commercial. We come back from commercial. They show us a recap, whatever. And then we see the referees in current time checking on these two individuals. My God, Drew.
Yeah, this was incredible.
And there was a tsunami in the back too, like a mini tsunami that when they
Onto
were
the
crawling
table,
onto the table. Like, Jesus, man. Oh, Drew, it's incredible. Really, this reminds me of a better version of when, like Dustin said it, more 2017 era Braun. Like when he was doing that with Roman, when it was him and Roman.
I think I was just last week maybe that I said I'm not finished with you.
Yes.
This is Braun and Braun at their best. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's incredible. Very, very good. I want to see it every week. I just want these guys ruining shit every week. That's what I want. So good.
This needs to be the final Raw on USA before they go to Netflix. Is just the two of them, a main event, just destroying the building. Just the whole Raw set. It's going to be brand new for Netflix. We all know that.
Yeah.
Just have them go through the light stage, just breaking the ring. It's going to be. It would be incredible if they did that.
So good. All right. Adam Pearce is backstage talking with the ref, and Ludwig Kaiser shows up. He says he wants to know if Pearce has found a suitable opponent for Gunther. Pearce says he's working on it, but Sami Zayn makes a compelling case. Ludwig doesn't like it. He says, and then Sami makes his entrance. And then Adam Pearce says, I've given Sami time to talk about it tonight. So Sami Zayn gets out there. He talks about being in the ring with Bret Hart last week and the work ethic of being a Canadian champion, and he needs to be that guy. Gunther says he's not on his level, but he doesn't believe that, and he doesn't think the ring general does either. Sami says he's in Gunther's head, and he knows if they fight again, that he'll beat Gunther again. And then Kaiser comes out. Kaiser says that Gunther is saving Sami Zayn from the worst moment of his life, and WrestleMania was undoubtedly the greatest night of his career. For the first and only time, Kaiser saw Zayn's family looking up to him instead of looking down to him. And he goes, but miracles never happen twice. He goes, so take it and run with it and enjoy it because it's never going to happen ever again. So then Sami starts to kind of, ask Ludwig some questions, kind of picking at his relationship with Gunther. He says he clearly needs to succeed on his own merits and show the world what he's capable of. Does he think he's going to win respect out here as Gunther's mouthpiece? If he's going to come out here, he should at least have the balls to speak for himself. It's pretty good. And then
really good. Yeah.
Gunther arrives. Gunther says, Sami, I'll talk about your challenge in a minute. But at first he looks at Kaiser and he goes, you got something you want to say?
I was like, oh, yeah. What's going on here?
I was like, ooh. But he goes, you got something you want to tell me?
That.
Yeah.
Something you want to tell me?
Yeah. He says, you want something you tell me? Because if there is, you should do it right now. And Ludwig says there is something he's been trying to get off his chest for a very, very long time. And he just drops Sami with the clothesline. Just drops him.
Really well done.
Very good. He then gets on top of Sami's mountain punches. He's hammering away. He hits a square. It looked like Andrade's old move, like that, like turnaround DDT kind of thing.
Yeah.
He hit that. And then Gunther picks Sami up and tells him that the answer is still no. Gunther gets out of the ring. Ludwig then tries to get a little cocky. He picks up Sami to go for another DDT, but Sami actually pops up and DDTs him. And then he gives him a haluva kick as he's staring at Gunther. And that is how this segment ends. It was a good segment. I thought, listen, man, I know Kaiser is, he's kind of the henchman of Gunther, and it works. Kaiser's got Kaiser has everything you need too. Like, Kaiser's legit. He can cut a great promo. He looks the part. He's a good-looking dude, and he's very, very good in the ring. I think they have a future. I think Kaiser can be a near the top of the card guy solo.
Absolutely.
Like, he's incredible. But I really like this.
Face. He's my top baby face on
I really like this segment. I don't know how much longer. I mean, how much longer are they going to drag it out until Gunther says yes? Like, they only have a couple weeks now. Like, you have to say yes at some point if this is going to, you know what I mean? So it's 3 weeks in a row now where it's been no. 3 weeks in a row.
Well, Sami and him haven't fought yet. So, usually that's when it happens.
Yeah. Gunther's been reserved.
So, yeah, but I really, really like this segment. And it's showing that they're going to definitely start teasing something between Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser for sure.
Eventually. I think down the line for sure.
Yeah.
Down the line for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be maybe after the next pay-per-view or something.
Yeah.
Because he's been more over, Ludwig. He's been more over than I've realized.
Yeah.
For a little bit now. Like, he's got this charisma about him. And just the way that he even holds the microphone is so interesting. Like, he doesn't, everybody's just like, here, I'm holding a microphone like this, but he just has this, the way that he holds it like this. It's so eloquent. It's different from what everybody else does. And I think that he very well could be. I mean, if there becomes a breakup between him and Gunther, obviously, Gunther is going to be the heel.
Oh, of course.
So, but yeah, I'm excited to see the potentials of that down the line for sure.
100%.
Now, regarding Sami here, Um, I think that what's going to end up happening is Sammy. Well, we have 2 weeks to Bad Blood,
2 weeks from Saturday. Yeah.
so probably next week
He has to
Sammy
accept, right?
attacks. Sammy's got to attack Gunther,
Or something like that. Or finally break him. Something.
and then probably by attacking him. I
Yeah.
can't really see it happening any other way. And then and he's like, you want the match, fine, you've got it,
Yeah.
in anger, and then realize what he'll realize afterwards what he just said, because
Yeah.
if you just say that then means that the match it's like signing a contract in blood, apparently.
Yeah.
It's like, you want it, you've got it, and it's like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
what did I just say? It's like, well, that wasn't a contract. You just said words, but that's how it happens in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll attack Gunther. Gunther will, in anger, say, "I accept." You're on whatever typical trope word sentence that people say when they're in anger, and then probably the week after will be a contract signing, or one final face off between the two, and so that's what's going to end up happening. But I'm not saying it because I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm definitely going to enjoy it. But yeah, him attacking Gunther is really the only way I see Gunther saying yes.
That's fair. We then get Damian Priest being interviewed backstage, and Liv Morgan rolls up to talk some trash. Priest says he can't believe somebody in the Judgment Day actually has a set, and Liv should protect them because Rhea's going to shove her balls down her throat.
God,
I think, or something.
There were some good lines in those promos.
Yeah,
tonight.
Yeah. And then he said, also, kiss Dom goodbye because he's going to end him when they fight tonight. And then it was time for, in my opinion, maybe the best match on Raw this year, but easily the best match of the night. Bianca Belair and Iyo Sky. This match was incredible.
Yeah, it's one of those TV matches that just happen, and they're going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
But they're
Holy
great.
Man. Like, I even said it out loud. Like, when they did the thing earlier, I was like, ooh, Iyo and Bianca tonight? Hell yeah, that's going to be good. And then, like, 6 minutes into this match, I was like, they have the work. They always do, these two, but I was like, they got the working shoes on tonight. They are doing it. It was very, very good. Both these women showing their A game. And Iyo Sky gets the victory here. Iyo Sky rolls up Bianca Belair with a small package to get the victory. At one point, Bianca had Iyo Sky in a vertical suplex, and she walked up the stairs with her. She walked up the stairs from the floor to the ring while holding Iyo in a vertical suplex, and then just dumped her into the ring. And I was like, earlier in the match, she had her for a vertical suplex, and she was high stepping and dancing all over the ring before she dropped her. And I'm just like, dude, unbelievable. And then Iyo hit everything that you expect. Iyo did a suicide dive towards the end of this match that the way she torqued her body, it looked so violent, but beautiful. This match was amazing. Really, really amazing. And Iyo Sky getting the victory. Obviously, I feel like we are definitely heading to Kyrie and Iyo going for those tag titles. And those four girls are going to kill it. So please, anytime you want. Hopefully Kyrie's okay and she can come back and, whenever. But, dude, this match was incredible. An incredible match between these two. It was very, very good. We then come back from commercial after that, and Ludwig Kaiser is cutting a promo on Sami Zayn and KO. He's talking about how they turn on each other over and over, and he's going to show the world that Sami is nothing but a sad, bitter man, jealous of his best friend, and never will be a world champion. And then next week we find out we're getting Sami Zayn versus Kaiser one-on-one on Raw next week, which should be really good. We then cut to Ilya Dragunov. And he's flagging down Jey Uso to wish him luck against Braun Breaker next week. And then they yeet. He even gets Ilya to do a yeet.
Mm-hmm.
And they bump fist and Jey moves on. But then, Drew, Judgment Day rolls up. And Finn Balor says Ilya's out here yeeting with Jey and speaking highly of the Terror Twins, and maybe he needs to think more closely about who he considers friends, his friends around here. And then Dragunov says he respects the three of them more than he respects anybody in the Judgment Day. They look like they want to attack. Balor holds them all back. And he says, this is a friendly reminder, but next time the message won't be so nice. I feel like, are they building to... See, here's my dilemma here. Because it feels like they might be building to a Judgment Day versus somebody in Friends War Games match on the Raw side. So it'll be Damian. I feel like they're kind of, again, the Jey thing doesn't make sense because everybody's under the assumption it's going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. So Jey would have to be in that.
Right.
But it feels like it could be Damian, Jey, Ilya. They find another one person and we get a War Games match between the Judgment Day and Damian versus Damian and Friends. Feels like they're setting up seeds that could be a thing. Am I wrong? I feel like the Judgment Day are getting involved with a lot of different people now, which could set them up to have a multi-person big match like that.
Right. Yeah. It does seem that way, but there's no way they're not doing Bloodline. The Bloodline.
That's what I think. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that obviously when we talk about SmackDown starting here in a few minutes. Because let me tell you, I got issues. We come back. We have the main event of the evening. It is Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio. Priest was whooping Dom around for the first little bit of this match. But then obviously the Judgment Day gets involved. We come back from commercial. Priest is still up, but Dom starts getting a little bit better. And then Dom is about to get a pinfall, like Priest is about to pin Dom. Liv puts his foot on the ropes, and then Rhea Ripley comes out and spears Liv Morgan over the announce table. Judgment Day's getting involved. There's a lot of chaos happening. We fast forward to the ring. Damian Priest, Superman punches McDonough. He catches a suicide dive and throws him into Balor. He super kicks Carlito, so he's taking out everybody. Mysterio goes for hits the 619, but a huge lariat from Priest. Takes off the straps, and then he hit a gigantic South of Heaven on Dominic. Dominic took this one like a champ. And he hit one in the 1, 2, 3. He beats Dom with the South of Heaven. But post-match, Damian Priest immediately gets jumped by the Judgment Day, and they are beating him down. Jey Uso comes down to make the save, but on his way down, he gets speared by Braun Breaker out of nowhere, which lays out Jey Uso, and the Judgment Day hits all their finishers on Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, and the show ends with the Judgment Day standing tall for the second week in a row. The Judgment Day looking strong on Raw. I thought this was a very hot match to end the night, and I thought the Judgment Day has needed these last 2 weeks. They look dominant. They look like they're a problem.
They are the most dominant thing in Raw, for sure.
Yes.
And honestly, if not for Jacob Fatu returning, I would say they're the most dominant faction in WWE right now.
I would agree. I thought it was, like I said, a very good ending to Raw. I thought Priest getting the win was good. I feel like he should have beat Dom, but the beatdown, the numbers game again, I thought it was very, very good. I thought it was an excellent Raw, one of the best of the year so far. I thought top to bottom, everything was important. Everything mattered. Just an excellent show last night. And now we go over to the Blue brand. which this past Friday, it was in Seattle, Washington for the re-debut, the big return to the USA Network for SmackDown. And the show opened with Triple H making his entrance. He says it felt just like yesterday. He was opening the first ever SmackDown fighting The Rock. And 25 years later, there's no better place to be than right here, right now in Seattle, Washington. And there's no better way to start off the night than with an undisputed championship match. And he does the Are You Ready shtick. And we have our opening match. It is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, defending the WWE Undisputed Championship inside a steel cage against Solo Sikoa. I thought these two had a pretty good match, Drew. I thought it was better than the SummerSlam match.
Yep, I was going to say the same.
I thought this was a pretty good match here. Back and forth, Cody Cutter. Cody jumped from the diving crossbody from the top of the cage at one point, but he couldn't put Solo away. But then he hits him with the crossroads. He gets the victory and retains. But then the Bloodline swarm the cage post-match to beat Cody down. Jacob Fatu climbs the cage, and as it looked like he was about to dive off the top of the cage and do something wild, Roman Reigns' music hits, and Roman Reigns is here. Roman gets in the cage, and the little small detail that I loved, shuts the door. He goes, no. There might be more of you guys in here with me, but trust me, I'm not trying to leave. You guys are in trouble that you're in here with me, not the other way around, buddy. And he shuts the door, and he starts to take them all out. He dismantles the Gorilla of Destiny. Solo blindsides him and beats him down, but Reigns gets the better of him, and Fatu ends up outside of the cage. But Roman is saying, come on, big guy. I want you. Get in here. And then the Samoan Werewolf and the Big Dog squaring up, but Solo pulls Fatu out of the ring. And then the Gorillas of Destiny blindside Roman and start putting the boots to him, but Cody gets back on his feet, evens the odds. He hits Tama Tonga with the crossroads, and then Roman spears Tonga Loa. And that is how this segment ends. And all while this is happening, we see Jacob Fatu put the Ulafala. Puts the Ulafala over Solo's neck with Roman staring a hole through him. And that's how we end this opening segment. Opening match, opening segment. Real good. Everyone, I think we all knew Roman was coming back, but I thought this match before we got to that was good. It was really good. Even though we knew Roman was coming back, I didn't have the feeling like I did at SummerSlam where everyone was just waiting for Roman to come back. Yeah. It felt like people were invested in this match.
Yes, and that's what the SummerSlam match needed, honestly. It was not that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was really happy to see people were invested. It made the match more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
I think the steel cage aspect also...
Cody got color in this match, too. There was blood in this match as well, which I think added some stuff to it.
It was a very perfect match for the two of them, and I don't need to see much more of it at this point. Although, we know what's happening now. I really want... well, you know what? Let's continue because I have more words when we get to the second part of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We come back from commercial. Nick Aldis is being interviewed backstage. He says that everybody has been separated, but Solo has reached out to him with an offer of a tag team match involving him and Jacob Fatu. And then we get Mia Yim against Piper Niven. This was a quick match. I thought it was, again, kind of like the Natalya Zoe Stark match. I thought this match was good for what it was. It was just a quick match. I very much like both of these ladies, though. Very much like both of them.
Yeah.
I really, really like Piper Niven. But Mia Yim she hits Soul Food and she gets the victory. Post-match, Chelsea Green attacks and she yells at Piper. She goes, kill her. She yells, kill her. Big senton. Chelsea provides a trash can. There's a kill switch into the can. And that's how that segment ends. So it looks like we're getting Chelsea Green and Mia Yim here. Then they were celebrating 25 years of SmackDown. Drew, we saw Rob Van Dam in the audience. Dustin pointing out, he said, "Did you see Wyatt's 6 logos in 2 of the backstage segments? One with Nick Aldis, and then later with Jade and Bianca." And then Scott is saying that Sean had said that that match was cut for time, so maybe it was supposed to be a little bit longer, but it actually, because of time, it went shorter.
Which match? The steel.
I'm assuming I'm assuming Mia Yim and Piper Niven because it was short.
Oh.
So they had Rob Van Dam there, they had Vicky Guerrero there, and then Imperium, Gunther, and Kaiser were there. Rob Van Dam is there, Drew, and he's about to stand up and do his Rob Van Dam gimmick, which the whole crowd would have done. And right before he's going to do it, they cut to Vicky Guerrero. Is Kevin Dunn back for the night? The hell are we doing? The hell are we doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus Christ. Wait 5 seconds, will you? Wait 5 seconds.
That was something else.
My God.
You know what? I'm not going to.
Yeah, we don't have
full thing about the
we don't need to.
But
she is not worth the time on this show.
Yeah.
Now Kevin Owens makes his entrance, and he has a surprise partner going up against A-Town Down Under. This was hilarious. I laughed my ass off at this whole thing. This was hilarious.
Poor Ricky. Not the Ricky that's going to be debuting soon.
Yeah. KO apologizes to the audience, and he says he should.
The way they did this was amazing.
It was so good. He comes out. This guy, his name is Ricky. Apparently, he's an independent wrestler from the area. His name is Ricky. He comes out. He's bald, up some body hair. Wearing generic tights. Like it just looks like a generic. How would you explain what Ricky looked like, Drew?
He looked like
generic wrestler 4.
Yeah, on
that type of.
On the game.
Like really that type of thing.
So it was like, okay, some blue shorts, some blue knee pads, white shoes, whatever music, no hairstyle.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, we got Ophelia. Hi, Ophelia. Good to see you. Justice for Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
KO. So he apologizes. Yes, I knew. Yeah, it was from a tag team, Midnight Heat. They're a good independent tag team. I knew he had a little bit of a following, but just the way this worked out was fantastic. So KO apologizes. He's saying the guy he wanted couldn't make it and isn't here tonight. So Ricky will have to do. And then right as the match is about to start, we see a crew member come and she's like, "Hey, no. And she calls KO over and she goes, "He's here. He's here." And KO goes, the guy, my partner, the guy I wanted to see it. She goes, "Yeah." And KO goes, "Oh, look, my partner is here." He goes, Thanks, Ricky. And he stuns him. Just thanks for helping or whatever. Stuns him. And then we hear Randy Orton's entrance theme. Randy Orton is back on SmackDown. He shows up. Very good. And then it's A-Town Down Under versus RKO. KO and Randy. Pretty decent tag match. I did like the sequence. I thought this must have been awesome for KO. Because the sequence in this where he got to do the DDT with Randy and then he got to psych up for the RKO, like that had to be cool as shit for KO. Like he had to be like, oh man. So they both hit the hanging DDTs. They both go to that special place, as Michael Cole usually says. We had a stunner and an RKO, and then
and of course,
Randy Orton.
Austin Theory had to be the one to take the stunner,
of course, and he sold it like he sold the one before from Stone, like $1 million. Randy Orton pins Grayson Waller. Good stuff. The match was pretty good, but we knew what was happening here. We'll talk about it because Randy just got back, but do you think one of these guys turns on each other?
Well, we originally, we had a lot of conversations about, Randy not winning at the last PLE, meaning that, well, he must be turning. He must be coming back and turning on Cody.
Yeah.
But there was no interaction with him and Cody on SmackDown at all.
No.
So I mean, I feel like we could keep them as a babyface tag team for a while,
Yeah.
and then maybe even win the tag titles. That would be fun.
Yeah. I wouldn't be
And
opposed.
and then then once they lose them, then probably Randy. I would assume it Randy because I think Kevin Owens is he's just on fire, the
Yeah.
babyface.
Yeah. Scott, I mean, this is what I've wanted, but I think they're gonna stretch it out for a little bit. I don't think we're getting to that for a little bit. I hope it's sooner than later. That's the feud I want. That would be my number one feud if I could pick one in the company.
If
But
he is not involved in the Bloodline saga going into Survivor Series, then I would have Cody and Randy at Survivor Series.
it'd be nice. It'd be nice. I just feel like they might try to, again, Triple H likes stretching stuff out. So I don't know
Right.
what the plan is going to be. But
they could do, well, you know what? If I'm thinking like Triple H, I'm going, okay, I see Rock and Roman is going to be the WrestleMania match that was planned originally and, all that hoopla. And then I think maybe they do Randy win. I don't know if Randy should win the Rumble, but
I think right now I'm picking Damian Priest to win the Rumble. He's my favorite to face Finn at Mania, who will be the champ by then.
well, let's not.
That's my right now. I'm picking
in your
Damian
head,
Priest.
in your mind.
You're not gonna have Cody win 3 in a row.
Well, no.
You're not gonna
I'm
have
just
Cody
thinking it might
win
be John
3 in a
Cena.
row. It could be John Cena, and he could challenge Gunther, and that would be a big time Mania match if they wanted to do John Cena versus Gunther for the title and have Gunther go over. That could happen.
Yeah,
Maybe.
But yeah, I would think then if Cody is not involved with the Bloodline after Bad Blood, then have Randy turn on Kevin Owens, and then they do like that whole trio of like, hey, what happened? Why you turn, blah blah blah, and then Randy goes after Cody, and then that's the match for Survivor Series.
Yeah. Good. Backstage again, Nick Aldis, this time holding a contract. He tells us that Solo Sikoa has proposed that he and Jacob Fatu go up against Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns in a tag team match at Bad Blood, and that the Bloodline has already signed. We then hear a knock on the door, and it is Cody Rhodes. Cody says he is done with the Bloodline as far as he's concerned, and this is a Roman Reigns problem, and he has no intention of signing that contract. Nick Aldis then says he has to speak with Roman Reigns, and then we go back to the ring, and we see Nia Jax walking down to the ring.
I loved Cody's promo there because
I thought it was perfect.
You know what? Yeah, he should be done with the Bloodline. The Bloodline should be Roman's problem, not his.
Yep.
He's emphatically, decisively beaten the new leader of the Bloodline 2 times.
Yep.
So, I mean, there was some chicanery in both, obviously, but he was the one that got the victory both times. Now they're going to do this tag match. Really? We're going to just keep what's going to happen after the tag match?
I don't know. We're going to talk about it. We come back from commercial. They show us Booker T and Queen Sharmell, Sheamus, Michael P.S. Hayes. They're showing us some more celebrities. No, former superstars, not celebrities, but you know what I mean. And then we have Nia Jax on the mic. She talks about how dominant she's been ever since coming back and how it's been easy and how everyone is afraid of her. She says that today Nick Aldis told her that she's defending her title at Bad Blood, but she doesn't know, nor does she care, who her opponent is. She goes, because they'll meet the same fate as Michin, Naomi, and Bayley. Annihilation. And then we hear Bayley's music, and Bayley makes her way down to the ring. Bayley gives Nia that she's had the best year of her career, but she says it's not like the bar was set very high. to start with for you. She said, but I'm glad you're feeling confident. I want my rematch. Jack says she's in no position to demand anything. And she goes, this isn't like the last year when you were running around behind Damage Control, because she actually runs the women's division now. And then Bayley kind of questions her and says, oh, yeah, well, I don't need a crony like Tiffany Stratton to win my title. And then Tiffany Stratton enters. Tiffany says it's pathetic of Bayley that they bicker back and forth. Nia says Bayley doesn't have a prayer. And then we see Naomi. So now we got 4 different people in the ring now. Naomi kind of comes to Bayley's defense. She says if they want to fight, they got to fight, because she's not going to sit back and let them beat on her bae. That's right. You don't mess with Naomi's bae. And she goes, it's been a while since I've held a title, and I think it's time that I want to do it again. And then Nia goes, all right, well, since you two want my title so bad, how about you two have a little number 1 contenders match, and the winner can fight me. Bayley pitches a 3-way. Jack says, no, how about we do a tag match then? So this was kind of weird. But then Nia goes, we'll have a tag match where the winner gets to fight her at Bad Blood. So does that mean whoever pinned? Like, I don't.
Yeah, that was confusing. I think she probably said that line wrong.
Because then they do the thing where, like, Bayley and Naomi are chatting with each other, like, should we do this? Blah, blah, blah. And they accept. And then before Nia leaves, she goes, oh, and by the way, if we win, you two need to leave the loser needs to leave SmackDown permanently. Now, does that mean that it's the person that gets pinned? Or does the team? I don't know what the hell that means. But anyway.
In the words of Pete Dunne,
Tiffany tries to attack Naomi, but Naomi lays her out with a rear view, and that's how this segment ends. So we're getting a tag match next week on SmackDown. It'll be Tiffany and Nia versus Naomi and Bayley, and those are the stakes. If Naomi and Bayley wins, whoever gets the pinfall will be the number 1 contender for Nia Jax. But if Nia Jax and Tiffany win, whoever takes the pinfall has to leave SmackDown forever. That's how I'm taking it, which obviously is going to create, can Bayley and Naomi coexist? And all that's fun stuff. So we'll get that. Nick Aldis then tells us that Roman Reigns wants to address the tag team match situation in the main event segment of the night. We then come back. We see Ron Simmons, Teddy Long, William Regal. Good to see William. Bobby Roode and Damian Priest all in the front row.
Hey,
and then we have...
Hey, William, you know your boys.
Yeah, they're going through it right now.
The company that
they're trying to kill people
right now.
Trying to kill people.
You might want to just pick up the phone. Maybe give somebody some comfort.
Yeah, please. Can we get some order? And then we have the 5th match between Andrade, El Idolo, and Carmelo Hayes. Another goodie. These guys just have good matches. That's what they do. Back and forth affair. It starts off with Hayes blindsiding Andrade before the bell. They separate them. The match is on. Couple near falls where Mello was close and he had his hands on the rope. That kind of like swinging elbow that Andrade does, just a great looking move. And Andrade actually ends up getting the victory over Carmelo Hayes with an avalanche. What's he call his finisher move? The Message, I think, right? The Message. He does an avalanche of that. So I think this is the end of the series, or at least he takes a 3-2 series, either victory or a 3-2 series lead, Andrade. But what we saw after the match was LA Knight make his entrance. And from the stage, he says that Andrade is the next challenger for the U.S. Championship, but he shouldn't get lost in the sauce because the grand prize is getting dropped on your head and catching 3 the hard way from the megastar. So next week, we are going to get Andrade versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. So next week on both shows, we have the IC title being defended and the main mid-card title on both shows. I assume will main event both shows. So that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I thought this was fine. I can watch Andrade. Like, it's a different type of wrestling, but kind of how I feel about Braun and Bronson, how I could see those guys kind of do their thing every week. I could watch Andrade and Carmelo go as many times as you want to give it to me. All 5 of these matches have been excellent. I really like both guys. I really love Carmelo Hayes. But I think Andrade is a great challenger for LA Knight. I don't think he's going to win the title, but I think he'll give LA Knight a hell of a match because everybody that wrestles Andrade has a hell of a match. I expect this to be good next week, Drew. Real good.
I agree. It's their matches really are fun, and I'm wanting to see them just like maybe they have like a stip match or something, like an extra something than just fighting. Did they have one already? Did they have like a street fight or something? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think they've been 5 straight up matches. I spilled some water on myself. Don't mind me. But I think they've just been 5 straight up matches.
Maybe that's what their final match ends up being.
Yeah. Well, you would think if they're continuing it that Hayes would win. It will go 7. Hayes would win the next one, and then we're getting because right now it's 3-2. So if it's over, Andrade could have won a best of 5, and he's getting the title shot now.
Right.
But if they do continue it, you would assume that Carmelo would win the next one to make it 3-3.
It didn't seem like it's over yet.
I agree. Dustin says for a short time, I thought we'd maybe see them eventually tag, similar to how Sheamus and Cesaro did after their series, where they became one of the better tag teams of that whole era.
Come on,
the Bar.
Come on, let's do it.
Nope.
We are the Bar.
We don't set the bar. We are the Bar. Thank you. I don't know why I went pirate there, but that's just how I felt at the moment. It's how I felt. Okay. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are interviewed backstage and say whoever wants what they got, come get it. They're going to defend the titles every time they step in the ring. And then we see a little crossover stare down with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. They roll up. Nia threatens Naomi and congratulates them on the tag titles. What? No, wait. Nia threatens Jade, I think. It says Naomi on my notes, so I goofed. And congratulates them on the tag titles, but she beat both of them. Nia says, I beat both of you to win the Queen of the Ring, and thus SmackDown is her kingdom. It's true. It's true. How do you feel about maybe Nia Jax going for a double championship and this being because you have on Raw now, you have Iyo and Kyrie kind of stepping up to Jade and Bianca. And then on SmackDown, it's Nia and Tiffany kind of had this little kind of setting up maybe future matches and stuff because those titles obviously can float, which I love. I wish all the tag titles, including the men's, floated. But the men's each have their own shows titles, but I wish it was one for everything and they just floated between the 3. That would be.
I don't hate seeing that match. I mean, I think that would be a really great match. But yeah, I'm getting kind of tired of the double champion thing because I've been seeing it a lot in the other company lately.
Seeing a lot everywhere, a little bit.
Especially in the other company. So it's like, okay, but let's separate here. We don't have to be doing this person with a title going for another title. You know, there's so many people on the roster. We don't have to. For one match, okay, I'll say one match, but not like a prolonged thing or even Nia and Tiffany winning.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Dare Amazing, no problem at all, my friend. Just happy you're here. Thanks for popping in. We're about to talk about
one thing's for sure. It's late.
Yeah. We're about to we're about to talk about the main event segment from SmackDown. It was Roman Reigns and Nick Aldis in the ring. Aldis says that he and Roman have had their own unique history, and he just wants to say that Reigns, but he just wants to say, and before he can, Roman puts his hand out like he did with Paul Heyman all those times, like, give me the mic. Aldis puts the contract in his hand. Roman takes it and holds the hand out again. And then this time, Aldis gives him the mic. He says, a lot of things have changed, but not him. He says, I don't need Nick. I don't need some contract. This is family business. He says, and he doesn't need a partner, and he definitely doesn't need Cody's help. He wants to get one thing straight. Whether he has the necklace on or not, he is the tribal chief. And he says, and I'm not just the original tribal chief, I'm the only tribal chief. And this is his ring. This is his show. This is his WWE. And then immediately, Cody Rhodes entrance music hits. Cody gets on the mic. He questions Roman's statement that this ring is his. He says it was, but it hasn't been since WrestleMania. Ooh. They throw their microphones aside and they square up. And at this point, I was like, I knew what was going to happen, but in this moment, I'm like, all right, let's go, man. One more time. Let's go. And then we hear Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu. They stop on the ramp. The Gorillas of Destiny attack Roman and Cody from behind. Rhodes is taking care of Tonga Loa. He hits a Cody cutter. This frees Roman to hit an unbelievable looking rock bottom on Tama Tonga. Like, it was a great looking rock bottom from Roman. Roman grabs the contract and opens it while staring Solo down. He signs it. And then Cody Rhodes extends his hand out like Roman does for the mic. He wants the contract. Roman gives him the contract. He signs the contract. And we end SmackDown with the tag team match official for Bad Blood. It will be Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu in a tag team match against Roman Reigns and the American Nightmare, Cody.
God, this chair is
Rhodes.
fucking uncomfortable, man. I am not used to this chair. And I shouldn't sometimes, but God, my ass is killing me.
Hey. All right. I thought the ending segment was good. I thought it was very entertaining. This tag match will be very, very good. I don't want to see Cody and Roman tag.
So
I liked Cody earlier in the night where he was like, this is not my problem. I've dealt with these guys for 2 years. I'm done with this shit. Why would Cody agree to do this match? I understand they tried to take you out. They've been trying to take you out for 2 years, dude. It's nothing new. But this one time was enough.
This iteration of the bloodline hasn't been trying to take him out for 2 years, though. So it's like a whole new feud.
I don't, and I said it. I said it on Beards a few times. Because obviously we started doing this around SummerSlam. I said it earlier on Beards a few times, and I said, oh, we're getting Roman and Cody are going to tag team. And Pluggo was like, they better not. He was like, no way. And I was like, they're doing it. They're going to do it. And guess what, Drew? They did it.
They did it.
And we got two dudes that hated each other for 2 straight years teaming up in a week and a half. Again, the match is going to rule. It's going to be a fun, great match. But, like, come on.
I had some problems.
Where's Jimmy? You couldn't get Jimmy?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. And also, so, like, I really just kind of had a problem with this whole thing. Like, why is Roman acting like a heel still? Like, the microphone thing should be done. And I said that. I remember saying that specifically
but I think
a little while ago.
I think there's babyface, like that. The crowd's going to be waiting for that now, especially when it's Heyman, because Heyman's going to come back eventually. And when it's Heyman and he does that, like the crowd is going to, like, because obviously he did the acknowledge me thing and it was always mixed. But like that but him doing that now as the babyface, like the crowd's going to go fucking nuts.
Yeah. But doing it to Nick Aldis felt weird.
Yeah. I mean, it just made me be like, dude, Heyman needs to come back sooner than later.
And then like this is my show thing. And you're not the champion right now, pal. So.
Yeah. But I think Cody coming out right after he said that, it made perfect sense. And it was like, no, dude, it was your show, but I beat you at WrestleMania and it's been my show. I've been the guy here since you decided to come back.
This, unfortunately, we were just talking about the can they coexist with the other thing that we were talking about, but this is really like the can they coexist. This is like a major
because
coexist.
Yeah, because Roman, we haven't heard Roman talk like every week since he's been back, but he's made it clear that like he wants to go back for that title. He just has to deal with family business first. Like after the bloodline stuff, which again can be dragged out for a while, but like after the bloodline stuff, I very much expect Roman Reigns to then say, okay, now I want my rematch for the world title that since like now I want it. And that we should get that match.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I feel like
I do want to read
Cody and Roman are gonna be it's gonna be a fun match.
Oh
but
yeah,
then,
for sure. I just
like,
I don't
I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
not
see
feeling it right now.
I don't see why, and I get it. They attacked him. They've been making his life a living hell. I get that. I don't see why, even with what happened at the end of that show, I don't see why Cody would agree to do that match. I just don't see what would have swayed Cody from an hour earlier, him being emphatically saying, I'm done with this. Not my problem. And then he gets attacked by them.
Kind of
What was the 28th time, the one time
babyface
too many?
syndrome.
It's very weird. Very weird. Before we get out of here, real quick, this is a good comment by Dustin. He says, when do you think we'll see the first one-on-one match between Roman and Jacob? I think he says he thinks it unfortunately happens at Crown Jewel, continuing to build whatever happens at Survivor Series. But they're clearly saving Roman and Jacob. Like, that is a big time match that they are clearly saving for a big moment.
Yeah, and they're gonna have their moment together in the tag match.
100%.
And
100%.
Everybody's gonna be like, okay, forget about the other two. Let's just see this.
Yep. 100%. I think that's a pretty good call, Dustin. I could see that happening. Again, I assume it's going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline in War Games at Survivor Series. But they are creating other avenues where if they didn't decide to do that, they have other things in place. Because I do think Roman versus Jacob one-on-one at Survivor Series would be a match that could headline that show too. I just think that could work. Big Bad Boris popping in at the end saying, gentlemen, hello, Boris. Welcome in. We're just finishing up here on Firmly WWE.
That was technically this is Boris time. This time frame for us.
Yeah, he usually goes live at midnight Eastern on Saturdays. That's what he does. We're staying up.
Night Love.
Yeah, but all right. Well, I just realized that these things were not on the show.
You know what's funny?
Holy crap! I just realized those were not there the whole time. Damn. All right, well, we're getting out of here. Thank you all for tuning in. We had a good bunch of you. Thank you for being so active in the chat. We'll be back to our normal time on Thursday, 10 a.m. for Firmly AEW. And then next week, this is what they call a tease. Be on the lookout on Boris's and Love Wrestling social medias soon when he announces that, because this is a tease. 10 a.m. on Thursday and 10 a.m. back next Tuesday. For Firmly WWE. Drew, since the thing's on under you, let the people know real quick where they can find you on the social medias.
Follow me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter. I gotta get the fuck up. So let's just do this thing.
Yeah. You can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for being in the chat. And until next time, my friends, you know the drill. Peace out.